I've also had lots of questions of people saying, are you seeing what's happening on the border? Yes, I absolutely see what's happening on the border. I serve on the Homeland Security Committee. We're watching all this with the border. We're seeing a dramatic spike that just started about a month and a half ago, where we've got an enormous shift in unaccompanied minors coming across the border. We have a real change in how the administration's handling individuals coming across the border. We have people crossing the border that have no COVID tests that are being released into the interior of the country. There's lots of problems, both health issues that we have and just a flood of people that are coming across the border right now. They've reinstituted what's called catch and release. That is, they'll check them in, get their name and information, and say, here's a date that you have to show up in court, usually a year and a half or 2 years from now. You can stay in the United States until you show up for your court date, and they release them. The vast majority of people that get that treatment at the border of just being released in the country with a date that they're supposed to appear for a court never show up for that court hearing. There's no big surprise in that, but never show up for that court hearing. We have a large number of folks that are minors that are coming through, most of them teenagers that are coming across the border. They're being checked in and then released to relatives or friends somewhere in the country. And then they're told to be able to check in at some later time. Again, if this is anything like it was in the past, most of those individuals never show up. I'm actually this weekend going to head down to the border and get a chance to do an inspection myself and to be able to track this. But it's a very big issue for us as a nation. Every nation should want secure borders. We're not unkind. We allow more people to be able to legally immigrate to the United States than any other country in the world. We allow about 1 million people a year to be able to become citizens of the United States if they do it legally. That's a great process. We want to continue to be able to allow legal immigration to be able to come into the country. But when we open up our borders and tell people that y'all come, and if you get across the border, regardless of how you get across the border, we'll release you into the country for the next 2 years until you show up for a court hearing. But if you don't show up for a court hearing, we won't come looking for you. That's an open invitation for individuals to be able to come not legally. And that's something that we should push back against, and I most certainly will continue to be able to push back against, especially to honor so many people who've gone through the legal immigration process, and because it makes an enormous difference in competition for work all across the country when you have people that are not legally present here, because they'll make substandard wages, and it really does drive down the wage in the country. Let me go through a couple different things, questions that have come in. Ken sent a question saying, hey, thanks for reintroducing the Sunshine Protection Act. Is there any way we can work on getting rid of the rest of the dumb things that government does? We're working on the piece of time. I actually passed a bill you may know called the Taxpayer's Right to Know. It's something I worked on for years. It exposes duplication in government and will show every single program in the government, where it's done, what the name of it is, what it does, how many employees are assigned to it, if it's evaluated at all, what that evaluation actually means, good score, bad score, whatever it may be. But it allows individuals and members of Congress to quickly search for duplication in government and to be able to evaluate every program. That's in the process of being implemented. That'll be a very important tool to us in the days ahead. The Government Accountability Office leadership for the last several years said this is their main priority bill. And when I spoke to the leadership just last week about this, they said after its passage, now implementing that thing is their main priority to provide real accountability to the government. KT sent me a message, said, why do you feel the need to bring your religion on your job as a lawmaker? Actually, I think every individual can live their faith. We're Americans. Every person can have a faith, change their faith, have no faith at all, and be able to live it in whatever place that they're in. I have absolute ability to be able to live my faith as a lawmaker, just like you do, like any other citizen does. In fact, if you are wondering about that, Article 6 of the Constitution, not the 6th Amendment, but actually Article 6 of the Constitution, says there's no religious test for any officer of the United States. So not only can I live my faith, it's constitutionally protected by the First Amendment and by Article 6 of the Constitution. I don't try to wear that as something fake for me. It's who I am. It's maybe who you are as a person of faith. If you have a different faith, whatever it may be, live that out. That's your choice to be able to do that. We're Americans together. Brian sent me a message saying you complained about the COVID bill that just passed. What did you do to make sure Oklahoma got a fair share of the money, or did you just not participate and are you going to vote no on the bill? Actually, I didn't have a chance to participate. I brought multiple different amendments through the process and tried to be able to get involved. Democrats never allowed Republicans to get involved in this debate from the very beginning. In fact, 10 Republicans actually went to the White House, sat down with President Biden and said, we have a whole set of ideas that we'd like to talk about for this. And Biden just said, nope, we're going to do this straight Democrat only because we've got a lot of things we know you wouldn't support. So thank you, but no thank you. The last 5 bills, I was very active in participating in those bills. In fact, there was a bipartisan piece that I had in there dealing with charitable giving to help nonprofits of any type to be able to survive this, because nonprofits are part of the safety net that we have as a country. We have three safety nets as a country: families, nonprofits are the second safety net, and government is the third safety net. If the families and if the nonprofits aren't successful, no way government can keep up. So I actually had a nonpartisan piece dealing with charitable giving to be able to help individual not-for-profits survive this past year. I didn't have a chance to be able to raise that, so guess what? In this bill, there's nothing to be able to help nonprofits in this latest bill, because there was no interest in it. So it has been an issue on that. Let's see, William asked a question: what consequence do you see resulting from the $1.9 trillion COVID bill? Number one, I wish it was actually just a COVID bill. It'd be a lot smaller if it was just on COVID, because there's not $2 trillion worth of need on COVID right now. There are real needs, but not at $2 trillion. So I think the number one consequence is going to be, we're going to see inflation starting in the United States, because there's so much money being pumped out to an economy that's already growing right now. Unemployment continues to drop. A lot of things, good things are happening in the economy. People are getting back to work. Obviously, lots of people are getting vaccinated, so they're getting some normalcy back in their life and travel, and all those things are picking up again. We've even seen some flights starting to be added because people are starting to get on flights again. Those are all good things. So the economy's heating up. You add $2 trillion on top of it, it superheats the economy. Just about every economist is going to say the first result of this is going to be inflation. Items are going to cost more. We're already seeing some of those things starting. I think it's going to accelerate even faster in the days ahead. That has a real loss for everybody in this. The second big issue is going to be that much debt, and what that's going to be to the bond market, what that's going to mean to interest rates for all of us in our debt. And it's a radical change in a lot of programs. I'll talk about it some other time as we come back to these. Shannon asked the question about homelessness. Is it getting worse? And what are we doing to be able to help in that area? Excuse me again. Homelessness is a challenge. This year was really difficult for the folks that were trying to do the homeless survey to be able to determine how many homeless that we have across Oklahoma. The people that do the volunteering and do the work, both from HUD on the federal side and across all kinds of leadership of homeless entities and not-for-profits across the state, are really remarkable people that are helping some folks that are really in a difficult moment. Many of those individuals deal with mental health. If you've interacted with a lot of homelessness, the mental health comes up often. Substance abuse comes up often. The last 5 years, we have added additional money to mental health issues and to substance abuse issues. That is a desperate need across the country. It's something our state has to be able to step up and do even more to be able to help with as well. The other thing I'd already mentioned before is the work that I've already done to be able to support nonprofits, our homeless shelters, the individuals that are helping with what I call the hungry, the homeless, and those that need help. Those folks really need our help in a nonprofit. Government can provide a check or provide housing or some of those things, but when you get face to face and actually try to help somebody walk through that, nonprofits are some of the best at that. Because they can actually help walk through life on life with people. So that's why I try to do so much to be able to help nonprofits, because they do so much good in so many different areas. So those are some specific things that I've actually done in the last several years, adding more dollars on the federal side to mental health, substance abuse issues, helping not-for-profits to be able to survive and thrive because we desperately need their help in that area, and then continuing to be able to track the surveys as we go through that. Jerry asked me a question I think is interesting. Why don't you trust women like God does? I'm not real sure, Jerry, 100% what that means. I would tell you I do trust women. In fact, my entire executive team on my staff are all female. So yes, I absolutely trust women in their leadership. And so I'm not real sure what that is. If that's about abortion, that I don't trust women to be able to make a decision about their own child and about whether a child should live or die. Now, I do have a personal belief that, and I think it's backed up by science, quite frankly, when you look in the womb and you see DNA, that particular set of cells has different DNA than the mom. That would tell you that's not the mom's cells. That's a different life that's in there. When they've got 10 fingers and 10 toes and a beating heart and a functioning nervous system and DNA that's different than the mom or the dad, that would tell me that's not one person, that's two people. And so I do believe that every life is valuable. And I understand why some people believe only certain lives are valuable, and they're only valuable if somebody says they're valuable. I actually believe every life is valuable, whether it's a homeless person that's struggling with issues of mental health, or whether it's a child in the womb, or whether it's a child needing additional attention in early childhood, whatever it may be. Those individuals are all valuable, and I guess we can just disagree on that if that's what your question is about. But I certainly trust women because they're in leadership all over my office, and that's the key aspect of it. So there's lots we can talk about. There's other questions you can submit up to us. We'll try to be able to follow up in the days ahead and keep up. If you want to keep up with us, I'll try to do this kind of conversation on Wednesdays. To be able to catch up, you can always email us a question and send it into our office. Go to lankford.senate.gov, lankford.senate.gov. And that has our email address, has our phone numbers, ways to be able to get in contact with us. You're welcome to be able to do that. All the social media platforms at Senator Lankford to be able to track with us as well if you want to get updates of what I'm working on and the task that's at hand. There's a lot going on in DC right now and a lot of different bills that are behind the scenes. So we're getting lots of calls from questions, people saying, hey, I've heard about this bill or something that the House has passed. Is the Senate going to take that up? What are you going to do? Feel free to be able to reach out to us. We'll try to get you direct information about that in the days ahead so that you can stay informed as well. So thanks for listening in. This has been a long conversation. I hope it's been helpful to be able to get additional information to you. God bless you. Enjoy the rest of the evening.